Hey, so how do you synchronize the two hands when you do alternate picking? Let's talk about that because I have some really cool insights, and please stick with me to the end of the video to get the full amount of value here. Pretty often we just look into something and then we rush away to implement it. But there's a thing you need to do before you do that in order to get this right. Synchronizing seems like an impossible task, right? When you play single notes and they're not very fast, the brain can really place the finger on the fretboard and it can pick the string. It's two different movements. But when we're talking about synchronization, we need that to be one movement. And that is really having the same impulse in the brain sent to two hands that does exactly the same thing. Not the same thing, but similar things at the same time, right? So, and if they miss it by just a tenth or a hundredth of a second, you don't have synchronization. So how do you develop that? And what is really the problem? First of all, when people write to me again and they say, I got a problem with synchronization, what I often see, and this is the first problem, is that this hand can pick way faster than this can move. And once you start going from an exercise like 3 notes on a string again, or let's do 3 notes on 2 strings, right? That's the exercise, right? And you want to speed that up. What happens is that it's like you can pick faster, but you really can't, because picking is not just picking. Tremolo picking is just picking as fast as you can on one note. But that doesn't require any control, because then you can go, right? It's just as fast as possible with no control. And that's not alternate picking. You could say it's alternate clause, it's up and down. But what I mean by alternate picking is speed coupled with control. And that's the only way to achieve synchronization. So what is control? It is that you know exactly how many pick strokes you do. How do you know that? By using accents. You have to chop things up, right? So instead of playing, just when you get to this point and you can't play any faster because it seems like you're losing synchronization, it's because your right hand can go way faster, but with no control. So it's not synchronization that is the problem. It's the lack of control. And control is that your body has this rhythmical feeling of what 6 notes mean. 2 triplets, right? Or what 3 notes means. And the first level you get to is to say, okay, I need an accent in order to illustrate to the brain that I played 3 notes. So I need to go. When I practice, that note has to be louder. And it doesn't, when you play and perform, you don't have to always play the first note louder out of the 3, but it's a way of practicing, of training your brain to take 3 notes and make them one impulse. So it's like taking a movement like this, right? In martial arts or whatever. You do that and then you punch. But this whole thing here is a lot of different movements. There's tons of muscles involved in that, right? Go like that. And they have to be triggered by the same impulse in the brain. And we can do that by practicing the movement slowly. Okay, hold the hand here. And then as you pull that back, you take the other one, move it forward. You don't get the real momentum, the extra punch before you can do it fast, right? You don't get that. So you have to practice it slowly. But what happens is that becomes one movement. You don't do this and then that and then, right? It's not like a chopped up thing. You make it one thing in the brain and then you just have that thing going for you, right? It's one thing that you activate, a pattern of movement, right? And so you make these 3 notes one pattern of movement by playing one of the notes louder than the others, right? You go, and you need to exaggerate it to really put it in there, right? Because what happens if you do this enough is that you develop this. So instead of practicing one pick stroke or one note, you practice 3 notes as one. And you do that by having that accent. And you need to repeat that and you need to exaggerate it. This is simply the recipe of making 3 notes one thing. And it's the only way to get above singing level. How fast can you sing 3 notes? Da, 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 da. Too fast now. Can't say it. Can't sing it. And that is also, miraculously enough, the same level of speed where you lose synchronization. Because you simply have to have a bigger group of notes than one, right? Da, da, da. You can sing that, right? Da, da. So you can kind of make it all happen by using your conscious brain here, you need to make it unconscious by using the conscious to build an unconscious pattern of 3 notes. Hope this makes sense. So you go da, 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 da. And once you do this enough, suddenly, because you can do this, you can go beyond the da, 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 right? Because now it's just da. Every time you say da, 3 notes comes out. That's the secret, right? And that's also the key to synchronization. Then once you have 3 notes, you go for 6. Because now you need to get to another level. There's only, if you go, at a certain point even the 3-note pattern becomes a little too little, but now you are on a level where you can have 6 notes be one pattern. So you go, or it's just 6 notes on one string. Da, 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 da. And suddenly you have this pattern in your brain. Like a spasm, like doing this, bleh, right? It's a pattern of movement, very complex, as this is. Right? Right? And then suddenly you can just fire off these 6 notes pattern, and the brain can synchronize now, right? Of course, you need to build the physical ability to move your fingers and your hand that fast back and forth. It's really not that fast. It's just small movements. The smaller they get, this is pretty fast, right? But if you take the big movement and make it smaller, it's actually faster and faster because there's a shorter travel distance for your pick. There's so many cool insights here, and if you want to look into all of them and really develop an insane plan for how to develop the most supreme alternate picking skills, you need to go check out our course. You can do that right below this video. There's a little ad for you in the middle of the whole thing. So that's what we do. We use accents. And when I see these videos from you guys sending, to see the challenge, what I see is, oh, you just need more practice, right? You just need more practice. And how to go about that and what I really mean by that is reserved for the next video. So for now, practice with accents because that builds patterns of multiple notes within them. It's the only way to get to the next level. First, you pack in 3 notes in one pattern, then 6 notes in one pattern. Of course, we got 4-note patterns and so on. But that is the key to synchronization. And please note, when you get to that level where you can suddenly play it all faster over here than you can here, then you lose synchronization because you don't have control. Please take a big marker and write control across your wall so you can see that that is the challenge. That is the problem. And please go back and watch the previous video if you haven't already done so, because it contains another key insight. This is, practicing alternate picking at the highest level is like a chain of stuff that needs to be in the cake, right? It's like a recipe. You need and if you do everything right in that chain, then you just build progress like it's amazing. But if you don't, if you lose one of these elements, then that is going to hold you back and really sabotage your development. So, first of all, practice with an accent. So this is the exercise. This is the important thing. Putting it into action. Practice. The first one is a downstroke accent, right? Ba, da, da. That's the first one. The second one is an upstroke accent because you go da, da, da. Da, da. That's the most important, most essential triplet pattern to build. And da 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 da. You can do that without the freaking guitar, and it's still really beneficial to your alternate picking skill. Da 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 da. Big stroke, upstroke, downstroke, da. Upstroke, Getting that into your body, you can even do ba da 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 on a table. Da 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 da, right? If you can't do that pattern on a tabletop, if you can't do that, then of course you cannot synchronize the 2 hands, because that rhythm is the synchronization that allows the brain to have that same impulse for both hands. I hope this makes sense. Okay, so do that exercise and become really good at it. Become a master of it. Go beyond good. Go all the way to amazing. Go all the way to there's no way that nobody on this planet can play this any faster than me. Simply not doable. That's the level you want to get to with focus and persistence. See you tomorrow.